Nicole from Ohio, I pray they try to sub out Vance after the ballot printing deadline passes. I want them to have to explain that.
He's regretting it.
The irony, him being like the sort of fundamentalist guy is I'll start kind of like believing in God again if Trump loses the election because of J.D. Vance and he sort of gets widely the blame. That would be a great world to sort of be on.
They're freaking out because he was not the pick, I think, that maybe Trump would have been advised to go with had they be running against Harris.
Or had Trump not been in multiple legal battles and desperately needing that Peter Thiel, Elon Musk
45
money.
mil a month.
On the other hand, he may have just desperately needed that cash, and there was going to be nothing that was going to keep him from getting J.D. Vance on there.
Even J.D. Vance's extremely low charisma levels, like no Riz here.
I don't know. He's got a pretty good Mountain Dew bit.
Pretty good. You want to put your name on that?
We should play this.
Yeah.
This is J.D. Vance. Where was this at?
Oh no! Wait a second. Let me just mention one thing before this. One of the things that we saw in the days just before Biden dropped out was Trump and a lot of these right wingers, and Sean Hannity, in fact, did this Sunday night. There's some problem with Kamala Harris's laugh. That the laugh is crazy, and why is she laughing so much? Well, she's laughing at stuff, and there's something weird about that. If you want to see a really uncomfortable laugh, let's go to J.D. Vance just yesterday. This is a combination of a joke that no one was aware was a joke until J.D. Vance seemed to pretend to crack himself up on it. But you should also know, we have figured out why he said this, but we just can't figure out. I guess he thought he had to make it in the context of a joke. I mean, this guy telegraphs stuff. He is not a smooth, charismatic politician. He is not that guy.
It is the weirdest thing to me. Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but it's good. I love you guys. These people were telling jokes up in the...
I love you guys.
I love you guys.
You know, my Mountain Dew joke. Mountain Dew's racist.
The racism line got less of a response than the Mountain Dew is good line.
Right. I mean, and the thing that got the least response was him like, I love you guys. Oh, you do? You love like the awkward silence after you tried to land a punchline. These are the kind of folks that
it's very like Nathan Fielder, where he's like, I'm just hanging out here enjoying a good time with all my friends. Exactly. And it's like, and he even has people behind him, and it seems like he's faking it.
Hey guys, please clap. But here's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people are just like, what? I don't get it. Why is Vance making this a sort of awkward, like, why is he shoehorning this in this moment? And then playing it off like he's telling a joke. Well, congressional baseball fan, frequent IMer, tweeted this at me, and I think this is it. There's two of these pictures. Mountain Dew was originally marketed as a hillbilly drink. And one of the things that, Andy Bashir was out there the other day, and people are starting to dig into this and make more of an issue. Put the other one up. There's two of those. This is Yahoo Mountain Dew, and it'll tickle your innards.
Oh
and
my God.
There's a guy there with a big,
This is a guy with a rifle on the bottle.
Oh, there's a guy with a rifle on the bottle, and he's got a big jug of moonshine. But it's Mountain Dew. And it is clear, to me anyways, that what J.D. Vance is trying to do is still prove his bona fides as an Appalachian. And he is trying to prove his bona fides, and he's so awkward that he tried to smuggle it in ostensibly a joke that was imperceptible as a joke, which is why no one laughed except for him. And he had to communicate to everybody, I'm joking.
Yeah, and I don't understand the racism point, except it's just an offhand way to say that
he's just shoehorning in the
everybody
fact that he
calls
drinks
me
Mountain
racist.
Dew.
Yeah, and in that same speech, he, as we played earlier, called Kamala Harris essentially somebody who was sucking off of government benefits as he applies to literally have her job where she gets paid by the government, but we all know what the implication of that is. Do you want to play this Bashir response to that?
Yeah, let's do the Bashir. And then
because he's apparently not one of the candidates that's been asked to submit vetting information to Kamala Harris, or at the very least, he said directly that could be some,
Could
language,
be a head fake or something.
a head fake. Because I don't know, like, I know he's a little wooden, but he's young. He doesn't have any of the issues with, like, say, school choice or
Right.
cracking down on anti-genocide protests that Shapiro has. And if she picks Shapiro, it's purely mercenary. I don't like it, but she wants to win, and he would lock up Pennsylvania, and they may be worried about that. And it might also be like, hey, AIPAC, I'm not so bad, even though, like, I'm signaling I may be a little different than Biden.
That's how to play in Michigan.
Yeah, and then you have to worry about that. So I don't want Shapiro. I like Bashir
you should
here.
also say Pennsylvania also has probably the second largest population of Arabs and Muslim in the country after Michigan.
That's a good point. So again, another reason why I hope she doesn't pick Shapiro. Bashir is good, and he also, I think he would destroy Vance 1v1 in a debate.
So as vice president, you undoubtedly would be able to help your own people. Syria, are you at least open to the possibility of being a running mate to Vice President Harris?
Well, I think if somebody calls you on that, what you do is at least listen. And I want the American people to know what a Kentuckian is and what they look like, because let me just tell you that J.D. Vance ain't from here. Now, the nerve that he has to call the people of Kentucky, of Eastern Kentucky, lazy. Listen, these are the hardworking coal miners that powered the Industrial Revolution, that created the strongest middle class the world has ever seen, powered us through 2 world wars. We should be thanking them, not calling them lazy. And so today was an opportunity to both support the vice president, but also to stand up for my people. Nobody calls us names, especially those that have worked hard for the betterment of this country.
So, guys,
One of the things that they say about Pennsylvania, though, is you got Philly and Pittsburgh, and then Alabama in the middle. And I would imagine that's also sort of, there's a little twinge of Kentucky in there as well on some level. So,
And
who knows?
He also has been speaking about the opioid epidemic in a lot of these audition tapes, which is something I think Republicans are going to try to run on. J.D. Vance, obviously, given his experience with his mother, that he's written about. But he writes about it in such a sneering, condescending way, which Bashir alludes to there. And he can speak to some of those voters in maybe rural areas or in those Rust Belt states about the plight of the opioid epidemic in a way that's constructive for Democrats. Because it's been a little bizarre to me that they've allowed Republicans to marginalize the issue when Democrats want to expand healthcare, which would help people with addiction.
And that needs to be the hit on J.D. Vance. I've been a little bit dismayed because people are saying he's just a phony. And I don't think that's the solid ground. I think you need to say he's a wolf in sheep's clothing that's coming for you. Like that he's just a phony, like, of course. But this is from Rick Perlston. He had a piece on Mark Andreessen, who's one of the Silicon Valley guys who put a lot of money in Trump after the J.D. Vance pick, from this article, My Dinner with Andreessen, Mark Andreessen of Andreessen Horowitz. He says, I knew from the New Yorker that Andreessen had grown up in an impoverished agricultural small town in Wisconsin and despised it, but I certainly was not prepared for his vituperation on the subject. He made it clear that people who chose not to leave such places deserved whatever impoverishment, cultural and political neglect and alienation they suffered. You can see why he's on the J.D. Vance train. I pointed out that there must be something in the kinds of places he grew up in worth preserving. I dared venture that it is always worth mourning when a venerable human community passes from the earth, that maybe people are more than just figures finding their proper price on the balance sheet of life. And that's when the man in the castle with 7 fireplaces said, "I'm glad there's OxyContin and video games to keep those people quiet."
Bashir would be good. Youth movement, make that case, and then
Shabari,
avoid the
Shabiri,
Gaza pitfalls.
and Nicola, remind me, we call it Pennsyltucky, middle of Pennsylvania. Pennsyltucky for a reason. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.